Всем привет, дорогие друзья, с вами Певица, и я продолжаю проходить Fallout New Vegas. Так, я сразу же... Так, сколько у нас денег, кстати? Я немножко глянуть. 1924. Я хочу починить свои оружия. Починить свои стволы. Ну, просто там можно еще с Кейси поговорить, чтобы переманить ее на нашу сторону, вряд ли. Так, подожди, мне же есть огнемет.
Ooh, got something good for me? Is it a dress?
Hey there, need anything?
Так, давай я тебе оружие... Так, огнемет продам. Она даже с микроядерной работает. Окей. Окей. Лазерный пистолет тогда не нужен. Медикс, наверное, возьму. 20-й калибр есть, кстати. Стимуляторы есть, возьмем. О, заколки возьму. Ну, вроде все. Так, и пойдем починимся.
We won't go quietly. Been doing a lot of good work out there, setting an example for the others. I know more than you already have. Might want to ask around, but truth is... Alright.
Так, чё он... Блин. Бронекостюм надо... Ни хрена себе, сколько стоит.
Evening.
Блин, я бы обокрал его.
You can't just take that!
Окей, ладно.
Evening. Thief!
Жалко.
Thief! Thief!
Окей, ладно. Не
Trolling the
получится.
Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter.
Просто я хочу вернуть свои деньги.
Appreciate the help.
Так. Нам нужно не сюда, нам нужно зайти Кейси.
Background?
You come around like... They want to buy Cassidy caravans? Don't they know? No. Even times being what they are. Not sure I'm looking to sell. Mojave happened. Hit by raiders packing some heavy firepower. Can't believe the Crimson Caravan haven't heard. So if you want to buy all of Cassidy Caravans, you're looking at it. And what I got in my pockets. Still, as little as that is, not looking to sell. If someone came up to you and offered you 1,000 caps for your name, would you take it? Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I don't want to hear your answer anyway. Point is, I made the caravan what it is. It's mine. Alice McLafferty, eh? No, I see the zeros, and I know she's good for them. Still, it's not about the money. Dad'd spin like a twister if he ever heard I sold our name for anything. Look, I know you came all this way, and that takes some drive, especially these days. Just doesn't feel right, trading history for a slip of paper. That's a good point. It's the caravan clearance that's got me stuck here. I'm sure this bar's getting tired of propping me up. Give me that paper. I'll put my name to it. No sense trying to hold the past between your fingers when it's nothing but dirt. All right. There you go. Caravan's yours. Feel kind of relieved, actually. Guess I didn't realize how much I was carrying around with just the name. No idea. Maybe head back west? Though the idea of heading back there with my tail between my legs isn't appealing. You got one too many by...
Угу. Ну, в принципе, я отправлю ее и пойду с Кэс. Почему нет? Так, что еще? Ящик загорел. О, неплохо. Блин, ты серьезно? А, вот выход. Я думал, выхода нет.
Trouble.
Так.
Hold on, I've got this. I'd like a large atomic shake and a double Brahmin burger. And easy on the agave sauce this time.
We gave you a password, Veronica. It's for your safety.
I know where you live, Ramos. Open up.
For Pete's sake. Opening up. Welcome back, Veronica.
Нифига.
Listen up. I'm in charge of security around here, and I can't say I'm too happy about having an outsider waltzing around. But since you came in with Veronica, I'm inclined to cut you a little slack. Just behave yourself, and we won't have any problems, okay? Oh, and the Elder's going to want to talk to you. He's on the 2nd level. Just take a right once you get down there. My office is right here in case you need anything. Just ask for Ramos.
Looking sharp, Ramos.
Behave yourself this time, Veronica.
Нифига тут целое подземелье.
Hello, you must be the outsider everyone's talking about. I suppose.
Блин, у меня 90, блин. А я ничего не могу продать, да? Наверное, рикошет можно продать, хотя он не весит вообще ничего. Блин, не знаю. Ну, давай так, хотя бы после ночного охотника, я не знаю, что такого продадим. Надо, кстати, ремонтная. Все, вроде все. Так, 5-миллиметровую можно продать, в принципе. Ну, топливо для огнемета продам. Возьму у тебя стимулятор. Так. Разные стимуляторы. Помощь. 4. Окей, вот так.
Thanks. Yes, I handle all medical. Normally I'd just be the base's medical officer. We have equipment here to treat most physical injuries. Lacerations, broken bones, that sort of. You may have noticed the bark scorpions up above. Though tiny, their venom packs. I can also treat any form of radiation sickness you pick up out in the waste. No matter. I'm this bunker's head scribe and everything but name. I supervise, but for reasons beyond me, that buffoon Taggart still gets the title. And don't get me started on that. Everyone around here knows what's going on there but her. I don't appreciate how much harder I have to work to cover for his tendency to focus on his personal projects. I try not to think too much about his personal proclivities.
Окей, ладно.
Still breaking hearts there, I see, Scribe Schuler.
Так, тут можно пострелять.
Hello, Veronica. How goes your mission?
We'll know in a second. I wanted to talk to you.
Veronica, tell me this isn't about...
Yes, goddammit, it is. But you're gonna hear me out this time.
We've been through this.
The things I've seen now, other groups succeeding where we fail, it's not too late for us.
We've outlasted the end of the world. We'll outlast these upstarts.
Waiting in a hole for everyone else to die.
If we must.
This is a dead end for us.
I see no evidence of that. Nor do I see anyone out there with a solution to our problems.
How could you? You're too scared to look. Let's go. We're wasting our time.
When Paladin Ramos informed me that Veronica was approaching with an outsider in tow, at first I didn't know what to think. After giving the matter some thought, however, I've decided that However, I will not force you to help us. Should you refuse, you will be allowed to leave here, though you'd remain Veronica's responsibility. What do you say, outside? Then allow me to explain our situation. This bunker is currently locked down, allowing no entry or exit, with you being one of the few exceptions. In exceptional cases, teams are sent out to investigate sites or retrieve materials deemed too important to ignore. 3 such teams have gone missing recently, and the news of their disappearance has not yet been widely spread to avoid undue concern. In order to maintain the peace and adhere to the strictures of the lockdown, I need to send someone else to discover what happened to them. I'm glad I can count on you. Oh, and one other thing. The patrols each had a holotape detailing them.
Понятно.
The shielding of the bunker prevents us from actively tracking them, but their positions should show. Should our worst fears become realized, please bring back all 3 of the holotapes. I've given the order that you be given access to some of the equipment our scouts and... You won't be allowed to purchase any prohibited equipment, but hopefully...
Окей.
Aw, just when the standing around was getting exciting. What's up? Well, when 2 people really love each other, you really don't know. Silliest dressed band of raping, slaving marauders you'll see east of California. I'll say that. Where's that touch of old world class? Although, I hear the soldiers mount each other as... No such privilege for the women, though. Figures. So, to answer your question, they're a bunch of hypocritical jerkwads. It's a word. Ooh, do I... It pays like ass, but it's hard to get other work. What do you want to... More sexual favors than I can even count. I am still tired from it. No, actually, you're born into it. My parents, their parents, so on. When you're young, you can choose to leave, but it's home, so most people don't. We don't take on new members, really. You can do the math on our long-term prospects based on that point. I keep hoping we'll... I know sometimes I sound like I don't. I know. But there's something that still rings true to me about our code. There's an honor to it. We're protecting people. Even if it's from themselves. It's a good cause. We just lose sight of the big picture sometimes. Treat all our practices with the same sacredness. Good question. These days, it's hard to say. Once upon a time, it was about technology. Energy weapons and power armor are usually tops on our list. But that all seems so limited now. We haven't grown or adapted. I'm a procurement specialist. Like I said, it's basically grocery shopping, except the elder who brought us to the Mojave, Father Elijah, usually had me looking for these old memory units, but he'd never tell me what they were. Nowadays, I'm usually sent to do business with traders at places like the 188, but sometimes I think it's just to keep me out of everyone's hair. Ah, the Codex. It documents our history, too. Part of what scribes like me do is update it. Nah, they'd probably catch it if I rewrote the Founder's axioms. He was our elder when we came east. A wizard with technology, really. His mind just worked that way, naturally. But he started having disagreements with the other elders. The Brotherhood's interest is in old technology. He wanted to explore... And there were other ways he wanted to push. Other weapons, ones with ethics questions attached. Rather than deal with him, they sent him east.
Он хотел что-то нужно, а в итоге...
Darn it. If you take trying to keep me as far away from Hidden Valley as possible because I ask too many difficult questions that's not to say I don't get along with them. I just...
Ну, понятно. Ну, я выполнил квест Вероники.
I'd slap him around, but he stood at my parents' wedding. Plus, he used to make excuses to get me out of my punishment when I'd slept through Head Scribe Taggart's lectures. He means well. I'm not giving up. He wants evidence, but he'll never go looking for it. He's scared I'm right. He'll never listen unless I hold the proof. That's my question to the Elder. All these years, the Brotherhood has collected weapons technology. And for what? To keep it out of people's hands? That clearly hasn't worked. To defend ourselves? We can't compete with the NCR's numbers, or the Legion's. We're fighting a war for a lost cause. If we're gonna survive, we have to find a role in society, attract new members. Look at the followers of the Apocalypse. They use their expertise to improve people's lives. They train them to be self-sufficient. That expertise cultivates respect and gratitude, spreads their ideals, draws talent to their cause. They make friends like we make enemies. But they don't know a fraction of what we know. If we took on their role, we could stand up to anyone. We wouldn't have to hide. He's a stubborn old man, but when it comes down to it, he's got our best interests at heart. If he sees some indisputable sign we're on the wrong course, he won't ignore it. I don't know. We need something that shows the Brotherhood will fail, or that it can do better a different way. The only thing that gets his attention is technology. Maybe Father Elijah had the right idea. Our elder before McNamara, he had a nose for recovering lost technology. He'd send scribes out into the desert chasing whatever leads he found. There were a few he only trusted me with. I can think of at least one that'd prove my point, if it still exists. There's a comm terminal not too far from here I'd use to access messages from him. If we go there, I can pull up his research on it. I'm with you. Being around here isn't the same anymore.
So, you're the outsider that's been given leave to wander around freely. Desperate times. Name's Hardin. I'm the head paladin of this chapter, and I think we might be able to help each other out. I don't know what the Elder talked to you about, but I can tell you this chapter is in trouble. And he's at the center of it. Are you willing to listen to what I have to say? Why should you trust the Elder? I'd recommend listening to both of us, and choosing whom to trust. So are you willing? As you may have already heard, this entire base is under a state of lockdown. No one goes out except small patrols at night.
Да.
Most of the chapter has been sealed in here for years. And those few who were outside when the lockdown was initiated are forbidden from returning. Morale has plummeted as time has gone by. And many of our current paladins haven't seen combat outside of training simulations. And all because of the Elder's explicit order that no one be allowed in or out. The only way things will change is if a new Elder is installed. Veronica's a special case. She handles the procurement of supplies. If we didn't let her and those like her back in, we'd all starve. If the Elder could manage it, he'd shut them out as well. And all in the name of security. Which is why we need to replace him. Of course I have, many times in fact. The Elder has an open-door policy and will listen to advice on any subject save this one. He refuses to see that our isolation is slowly weakening us. Aside from being our duty, going out on missions is what kept us strong. And because he fails to see that, he must be replaced. I would. I'm the senior-most paladin in the chapter, and have more combat experience than any two others here put together. I'd gladly support another candidate, but no one has the courage to step forward. I would put this chapter back on the right path, if I could just assume leadership. I don't know. I've gone through our records dozens of times looking for a precedent regarding the dismissal of an elder and come up with nothing. The people who are most likely to know how it could be done are also some of McNamara's strongest supporters, so they refuse to help me, which is why we're having this conversation. An outsider such as yourself would arouse less suspicion asking questions about such matters. The fact that the Elder has some tasks for you means his faithful won't suspect you, and you have a line open to the man himself. In short, you're in a perfect position. If I become Elder, the lockdown will be lifted, and we'll once again be able to... And when that happens, that'll have to do. I'd recommend going to see Rom. You could also try to find something relevant in our data store, though last I heard Scribe Ib. And if McNamara should give you any tasks, I'd ask that you report anything you find to me.
Ну, понятно, да.
What is this? Veronica brings an outsider into our home, then has a private audience with the Elder? The two of you may have the Elder fooled, but we know better. Veronica has always twisted the Founder's principles to her own ends. We will not stand idly by and allow her to corrupt our Elder's thinking.
Pardon?
I hope you've
Sorry
been
about
practicing your
that.
drills,
Just because I love them doesn't mean
It's
some of them aren't
dangerous outside.
assholes. What's up? I was told... Yep, it's your typical city layout. Rich House gave the area around the strip to the locals, but he has no interest in it, so he ignores it entirely. It just needs new management. I'd love to see the Brotherhood do it, but since the Codex doesn't say clean up...
Погнали, сначала квест Вероники сделаем.
Your presence here, outsiders aren't even allowed to know that our bunkers... You impressed Elder McNamara, obviously. That's right. Nothing gets in. Under the lockdown, only essential personnel are permitted to enter or leave. That includes supply runners and high-security patrols. All other personnel are forbidden to leave, and any personnel that... So, you've been talking to Hardin, eh? He's been looking for a way to usurp McNamara ever since the lockdown started. Don't get me wrong, he's a good man. But Elder McNamara has done all right by us. If it weren't for him, none of us would have survived at Helios. I'll tell you what I told Hardin. There have been only a few cases of elders being dismissed from their posts in the Brotherhood's history. And those involve crimes that someone like Elder McNamara is just not capable of. You can look it up for... I'll grant you access to that portion of the history section of our data store. See Senior Scribe Ibsen. I'm sure someone's told you all this before. Several years back, we were running our chapter out the Helios 1 solar power station. Our elder at the time, Elijah, had some kind of obsession with the place, which is the only reason we stayed as long as we did. That place was hardly defensible, and we knew the NCR was moving in on us, but the elder refused to budge, insisting that he just needed more time. We never found out what he needed time for. Wave upon wave of NCR troopers hit us from all directions. We held out for a time, but we were grossly outnumbered, and they had more men than we had ammo. Eventually, our positions collapsed. Elder Elijah was nowhere to be found, so McNamara took charge and led what remained of us on a counteroffensive west. We lost a lot of men and women, but we broke through and made it here. Make no mistake, McNamara saved this chapter that day. Who was Elijah more like? He was our elder before McNamara. Bright guy, but just between you and me, he was a little off. Our mission is to recover and preserve the technology of the past, but Elijah wanted more. He sought ways to improve upon technology, make it better. When we found Helios 1, he was like a kid in a candy store, kept talking about the potential and a grand design never realized. He even insisted we set up our base there, against the objection of nearly every paladin. What followed is a whole other story.
Давай сплошный забор выполним еще. Только, ну, опять же. Поехали. Так, вот сначала, потому что тут свалка.
Let's see what we've got here. Okay, yeah, this is the one I was thinking of. The pulse gun. Although, maybe the rangefinder could work too. And it looks like the NCR was onto some miracle farming technology. Electromagnetic weapon from before the Great War. Experimental. It never saw mass production. But they were building it as a countermeasure to power armor, which they feared the Chinese were developing. Supposedly a prototype was being housed at Nellis. Imagine what it could do to the Brotherhood. We'd be on equal footing with any idiot with a gun. More or less. Supposedly it's a vegetation enhancer. NCR has a science branch headquartered at McCarran Airport.
Ну, это мы знаем.
Guess they found something. Guess somebody wasn't very good at keeping secrets either.
Ну, только что.
We'd never pursue it because it's not a weapon, but self-sufficiency is fundamental to us. If it worked... It's a targeting device for some kind of doomsday weapon based at Helios 1. It was lost sometime after the war. We held Helios 1 for a time. Lost a lot of people defending it. Too many. All for this weapon they never got working. If it turns out to be a dud, it'd show how flawed our goals have been. Father Elijah said he thinks a scavenger might have sold it.
Ну, сельскохозяйственная технология, мы только что оттуда. Мы уже знаем, что это за технология. То, что это не идет. Да, я правильно.
Yeah, maybe they'll think twice about engaging the NCR if they know one of those could be floating around. The notes say to look around Nellis Air Force Base. He suggests going through filing cabinets and computers and... Okay, what better? Maybe the best place to start is to see what we can find out directly from the NCR. Let's head to their OSI office at McCarran. I like...
Капец. Но мы там были. Там же ничего не нашли. Точнее, мы нашли, но я решил, как бы, потому что оно опасно.
What's up? They defended Helios like it was their last stand. Didn't even know if there was anything worth defending. How could there be? Even if it did work, it'd be under NCR control now. There's a pawn shop in Outer Vegas we could check, and I've heard of a gift shop in the Strip that deals...
Ну, может, я отсюда шли, поэтому технологии нам не нужны. Зачем я пришел сюда, если она удалила все записи? Я считаю, что это правильный поступок. Абсолютно правильный поступок.
There was some kind of massacre at one of the ranger stations.
Here to do business? Antique rangefinder. Trying to think of something that'd be maybe an antique horoscope. Or an... I'll tell you something. Good luck finding that thing. But if you do find it...
Понятно, нам на стрик.
Thank you for visiting New Vegas.
It's hard to sleep in this place, I tell you. Last night some girl...
Hi, I'm Sarah Weintraub. Well, no, silly. Of course it wasn't a... I grew up in it. I love it. My favorite place... Not that I know much of the world. I never left this place, come to think of it. But it is the most special vault ever. My vault is pure New Vegas. Everyone has a chance, and Lady Luck smiles if you play your odds right. Okay, it was like that before we had... Vault 21 had very smart ways to help people get along. All arguments and fights got solved through gambling. I'll give you a quick tour of my... Rightio, Daddy-o. All right, please follow me. We'll head into the vault right away. This bunker protects the entrance to the vault, solid stone outside and thick steel on the inside. Hello. Good to see you again. I have all sorts of things. Vault souvenirs, vault wares, vault machines. Wow, I wish I had more of them. All this interest to be my biggest seller. I sold it to a man not too long ago. Real twitchy, nervous sort of guy. Had a funny collar on. I wanted to ask him about it, but I figured maybe I'd regret asking. Well, it was metal and kind of thick. At first I thought he'd come from Gomorrah, but didn't look comfortable. He kept reaching up like he was gonna itch it, but he always stopped. Oh, he was pretty average, I'd say. Average height. No, No, but I know where he was going. He asked me if I knew of any place where he wanted somewhere with concrete walls. Something about airwaves. But I guess he spent all his money on the rangefinder because he said it had... I said I didn't know about anything like that around here, but if he wanted to live for free, a lot of people do that in Freeside. I know there's a concrete building there across from Mick and Ralph's. No ceiling, but I think it still counts. Went up there one time to try and, you know, meet my neighbors in the biz. All right. Well, sure. You seem pretty special.
Есть совсем. Ну, такое себе.
I have all sorts of things. Oh, okay. I got these great lunch boxes. They're super. What about a vintage vault? Okay, I do, but who? All the popular stuff has been sold, especially the vault suits. Leather suits are good time. Really? Well, I don't even know what to say to that.
Блин.
I don't like the sound of this. Hope that color isn't what I think it is. What did you do, Elijah?
Above us, there's a control center for this level of the vault's life support systems, electric grid, radioactive shields, and all that jazz. Don't get lost. My vault has many corridors and rooms, although it is no longer symmetrical after Mr. House threw us out. This is the main game hall. Here we settled the big disputes among the vault's levels. Chosen representatives gambled against each other here. The winner earned the right to settle the dispute as wished by the collective. We used to have such parties in this diner. A bitch to clean later, but well worth it.
Hey.
This hall leads to our guest rooms. You can use the first room on our left, but no snooping next door. That's my room. Always was. Down there is the game room. Each side of the vault had one, but the other is filled with concrete now. Okay, that wraps it up. I'll see you soon. Hey.
Окей. Погнали тогда. Блин, красноречие быка чтуется. Оружейные ворота. Кстати, мне оружейники тоже надо. Там же и квест, господи. Чувихи красного каравана.
Come to Mick and Ralph's for all your shopping needs. We've got...
Так, подожди.
That stuff we're not even allowed to sell. People, only at Mick and Ralph's.
И по дороге заскочим в оружейники.
Huh? Kids.
Hello.
Reach for the sky. This is the best gun in the whole galaxy. Oh man, it's Stacy's fault. She pretends like she didn't get hit. That's still a lot of... I don't really like...
Так, теперь в оружейники погнали.
Wow. Good thing the safety was on.
Welcome, sir. This kiosk was specially...
Ловец снов? Что, серьезно? О, ни хрена ж себе. Сколько, блядь? Ёб твою мать. Ну понятно, ему можно что-то продать такое значимое. Блин. А есть ли глушитель? Да, глушитель есть для крупной винтовки. 3000 крышек стоит. Блин.
All gun run. This is...
I don't handle buying and selling for the gun runners. For around 5 years now. None whatsoever. Everything inside the fence is... A lot of our high-end weaponry comes from pre-war military schematics. Out here, we don't have bosses. Me, the gunsmiths, and the guards all know... Working for the gun runners is... Makers of the... You ever get your hands on a piece of...
Блин.
Uh-oh. Nobody screws with the gun runners and walks away from it.
You like that?
Блин, ну терять карму-то не хочется. Неужели второго входа никакого нет?
This is a restricted area. State your business. Your being here is a start, soldier. But if you really want to help us, talk to the idiot with sunglasses in the back of the plant building. He's been trying to get this place running for months and hasn't made any forward progress. I ask myself the same question all the time. But energy is... hell. If we lose the dam to the Legion, this little plant... There should, but we're not getting much power out of it. We had a real fighting force here just long enough to take it from the Brotherhood of Steel. Then they... Caesar's Legion sends skirmishers every so often, prodding for weaknesses mostly. The reality is, if they really... Damned if I know. Put up a hell of a fight, though. We had them outnumbered, I don't know. They held out as long as they could, lost most of their force before they retreated. Gave us a little parting gift, too. They had some of the plant running, but they shut it all down. Enabled an old security system.
Who the hell are you? They bring you in to replace me? Worried? Do I look worried to you? What else? I'm in charge. This whole operation... Well, see, we're getting power because the guy running this place is fantastic. But the mirrors outside aren't aimed right, so we're running at 1% efficiency. Trouble is, most of the controls for this place aren't... And that place has some crazy pre-war security system that the dumb shit NCR... They want me to make an omelet, but I can't break any of... There's these two terminals outside. They control the mirrors. I tried fooling with them, but didn't give... You'd have to get them to talk to the mainframe up in the tower, then do the rest from up there. Hey. Well, hey, if you find yourself up at the mainframe, do yourself a favor and make sure you send the power to the right place. It needs to go to the Strip and McCarran. Because I get paid, that's why. Per kilowatt hour. Whatever the hell that is. That's where the NCR wants the power. But you know, you do that, maybe I put in a good word for you with them. Fantastic. Fuck, man. Everything. I push buttons, I turn dials, Like, one time I imagined they were a code to get into a vault full of naked women. Man, how cool would that be? It was easy, man. They were going door to door asking if anyone knew any scientists. I said, look, they asked me if I knew anything about power. They asked me how well... No, man. Over there controls... That big knob there makes a crazy noise. Sparks come out of that slot if you put stuff in it. And... Here.
Hello.
Так. Блин. Надо уже заканчивать серию, а тут уже интересно начинается самое.
Does jumping at them with my fists count as rain? Found him.
Да ёлы-палы.
I'm not even making a dent with this. Yes! Finally!
Блин, надо было зайти сюда. Подожди, а где Лавали? Так. Где еще? Скобки. Есть. А что по помощи? Почему у меня такой дикий перегруз-то? Продажу пойдет.
This area clear. Proceeding with search protocol.
Non-combatants are advised to stay clear of weapons discharge.
Beats wait until they shoot me first. I like this plan where you're the decoy.
Меня сейчас убьют. Блять, Ребят, давайте на этом закончим. Я случайно забыл сохраниться. Капец. Ладно. Ссылка на прохождение Fallout New Vegas будет в описании. Подписывайтесь на канал, на Телеграм, на Бусти, на группу ВКонтакте, оцените, комментируйте. И до встречи в следующей серии прохождения обзоров, стримов игр, также реакции на видео. С вами был Перец. Надеюсь, вам понравилось, ребята. Не болейте, всем удачи и до скорого.